Okie dokie. Hello, we are live with the second episode of the Gmon News Desk for February the 4th, 2016. Today's episode brought to you by My Grumpy Ass. My Grumpy Ass! It's been grumpy since 1991. Also brought to you by Facebook. Facebook, the place where people go to do things and like things and comment on things and learn about things and read things and things. If you like things, you should support our things by going to Facebook and checking out our thing. That's the Gmon Transmission Station thing, which is a page thing on the Facebook thing, and you should, do that like thing. Alrighty, I am joined here today by Michael, what's the deal?
Hey folks, how's it going?
And I'm also joined by Kate, let's harmonize Harmon.
Hi, apparently I'm harmonizing today.
How do you think you got your last name?
I don't know. Josh once told me I was missing a Y.
Speaking of Josh Moore, we have no Josh Moore today. Sadly, he had to go do that work thing.
That worky thing in that worky place.
That worky thing in that worky place. We have my wife in the background. She'll do her best to be quiet. Who knows?
Meh.
She's doing a good job.
Meh.
Until now.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, we covered the whole Facebook thing, which we have an awesome Facebook thing. It's awesome. You should come click on it and you'll be able to see things like this awesome Sony logo and this Detective Pikachu story.
We have a
stuff.
Sony logo on our page?
Yeah.
Shows how often I look at our page.
I'm usually the one who uploads some snippets, some articles, and whatnot.
Yeah. Say goodbye to Sony Computer Entertainment and hello to Sony Interactive Entertainment.
Oh, that thing. Yeah.
Or as I like to
I remember that.
Or as I like to call it, the Sony Boardroom Shuffle.
Yeah.
But that's not on our docket today. We're not talking about Sony. Except for the fact that we just talked about Sony. So, everybody ready to get into it here?
Yeah.
Yep.
Alrighty. We have Kate on docket first, telling us about canceled Saints Row games getting released for free on the PSP.
It's actually not released on the PSP. It's a port for a computer. Basically, it's a, emulator.
Yeah, you actually can play it on your PSP if you have jailbroken firmware. You can dump the ISO directly onto your PSP and play it the way God intended.
Okay, apparently the night of January 28th, 2016, developers Volition, I hope I'm pronouncing that right? Volition, okay, did something remarkable and revealed a canceled Saints Row game for the PSP and released it for free to the public for anyone to download. Saints Row Undercover, originally slated for PSP, was designed to be a port of Saints Row 2, but later turned into a standalone game. They axed the game because the prototype didn't meet their expectations, and they recently rediscovered it and, in their words, released it to the wild.
Yeah, if you can go out and find footage of this, guys, it is amazing. The Giant Bomb guys played it for about 20-25 minutes on their Unprofessional Fridays series. However, you have to have a Giant Bomb Premium membership in order to enjoy that. So if you don't have a Giant Bomb Premium membership, I suggest just kind of going out into YouTube and finding footage of this thing. It is buggy.
Buggy as all get out.
You can download the ISO of Saints Row Undercover over at Unseen64, a website that archives and reports on canceled video games. You'll need a PSP emulator or a modded PSP to make it work.
Yep. By the way, if you own a PSP and you don't have it jailbroken, I don't know what's wrong with you. Like, that's the only reason to own a PSP is jailbreaking the thing and putting badass old school emulators on it.
Yeah, of course.
That's basically why you get a PSP.
But you're not supposed to do that.
Eh.
Who cares anymore? They've
By the
let
way,
go of it.
I realize you guys aren't looking at the same screen as I am, but can somebody explain to me why Kotaku has a gigantic, huge banner ad at the top for women's workout wear?
It's because sponsors.
I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't think the target demographic of Kotaku is interested in women's workout wear.
To say the least, but then again, Kotaku goes into some dark places.
Mine happens to have the thing that says "See online furniture store that has retailers worried." They're trying to sell me furniture.
They're trying to sell me women's workout wear. Can we switch?
I was looking for the. There was a thing on this that says it's because it's been released to the public and it's a public domain that there shouldn't be any problem with this. Shouldn't be considered pirated, so you shouldn't have to worry about emulating it at all.
Yeah.
Because I know a lot of people worry about when they say emulating, it sounds like a bad word.
Mm-hmm.
It's not technically pirated, so it's free domain.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Yep. In fact, it's the only way you're going to be able to play this is to either have an emulator or have a jailbroken PSP. So, Volition accepts these facts because of the way they released it as just a straight-up .iso file.
Here's a little interesting tidbit to think about. If this is the first one of those that hasn't been released that they found in just a random shelf or a random file, and then released it, quote, into the wild, what else is out there? What canceled project may have there been?
See, if this is Saints Row, what else does Volition do?
Volition? That's just Volition. I'm talking about the whole industry.
That could be scary.
Just think about Square Enix.
See,
What
all I
haven't
want
they
to
been
play...
telling us about Kingdom Hearts?
All I want to play is the original 12 Tales Conqueror's Adventure before it got turned into Conqueror's Bad Fur Day.
Oh, God.
I want to play the original family-friendly version that was basically made almost to completion and then scrapped and redone into Conqueror's Bad Fur Day.
Which, this opens the door for shit like that.
Yeah. That's
Just
all
imagine, where's it setting? On some
Rareware
disc or floppy.
So you got some Rareware collection of floppies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like 16 floppy disks
Under the couch.
under the couch.
Is some guys using an actual like N64 cart of the original Conquer 12 Tales as a fucking coffee coaster?
Yeah.
Just puts his coffee on it every morning, kicks up his feet.
Finally, one day, out of the blue, I'm gonna see what's on this. Oh, holy shit, I remember this.
Worse than that, it's like some guy named Greg from accounting just knows nothing about video games at all.
And they like gave it to him for a random birthday gift, and like because nobody really cared.
He was playing Civilization too much, and they said, "Oh, this has Conquer on it. Let's give it to him."
Nice. Alright, let's go ahead and move on, shall we?
Yes.
Alrighty, next story. The Witness is even harder for colorblind and hearing impaired players. Okay, so, those of you who are watching the video of this, you're going to be seeing a puzzle. This is a puzzle from The Witness. As you can see, we have dark red squares, we have purple squares, which mind you, the purple squares are on a purple background, and then we have dark blue squares, which the dark blue squares look very similar to the purple squares, and the purple squares look very similar to the purple background, and yeah, as you can imagine, this is a real pain in the ass if you are colorblind, to even any degree. In fact, the story's been going around for about a little under a week now, and like people are even saying that people who see color perfectly fine sometimes find some of the puzzles straining on the eyes as far as color is concerned.
Yeah, I can imagine. And that's kind of why I was hoping that Josh would be here, is because I know that he is colorblind.
Yeah, no, basically, I mean, from what I'm seeing from this, there's no way in hell Josh could play the Witness, because he can't differentiate between yellow and green at all.
Okay, so he's essentially screwed.
Yeah, there's no way.
Well, maybe if he does have some free time today, he could... Is it a video going on in the background? Correct? If I'm wrong?
Yeah.
No, it's a...
It's a puzzle, just a puzzle.
Straight up link puzzle.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if he could just, like, in the comments later today, if he has a second...
Try to solve it.
Not try and solve this. What color is that?
Yeah. Now, what's interesting about this is the Witness doesn't provide a colorblind mode at all. A lot of games that use, color-based, puzzles or, use, color to a high degree, they provide a colorblind mode. I think even, games like The Blob have a colorblind mode, if I remember correctly.
Yes, The Blob 2 had a colorblind mode.
Yeah. This game, however, does not. So it's an interesting situation, and I kind of wonder... I mean, it's by my understanding of what this article says, there's basically no plans for any changes to be made in the near future at all. So it's an interesting situation. I'm kind of wondering what happens to the person who buys this game on, the PlayStation 4 or on Steam or whatever, gets 10 hours in, gets into some of these more color-intensive puzzles, realizes they're screwed, and then tries to get a refund.
Essentially what the lead guy has said,
Jonathan Blow.
Jonathan Blow has said, essentially, well, there's a workaround called skipping that section.
Yeah, but the thing is here's why that doesn't really work.
Exactly.
Is the way that the Witness is designed is that every section, even though you don't have to complete a lot of sections to completion by any means, every section is there to teach you new rules, is to teach you the new ways that the puzzles work. And all of that knowledge is to be built up from every section of the island so that you can get to the final area, and the final area uses puzzles that are a culmination of everything that you've learned from all the different parts of the island that you've explored. And that includes things like dealing with a lot of these colored squares. So I would imagine if you're colorblind, you probably can't actually beat the freaking game.
Yeah, that's a fair assumption. Especially means he also came out and said, remember when we first covered this, that there's going to be a puzzle that roughly 1% of the population that plays it is not going to
that is going to be able to solve.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, which is actually a trophy in the game.
Yeah. Now, actually put that into more of his perspective with colorblind and hearing impaired not being able to complete anything. I'm thinking that's more on the edge of what?
Segregation,
around 10 to 15% of people aren't going to be able to, let alone figure out the puzzle.
Well, get to the puzzle.
Get to the puzzle or finish the game.
Yeah. My wife wants to chime in here.
Alright, I'm looking over my husband's shoulder here at what's on his screen. And I have taken way too many art classes to keep silent on this one. Okay, rule number 1. You never, ever, ever have those three colors paired next to each other, whether or not you are colorblind. Yes, red and blue go together great, because they're going to, bounce off each other, but just know, somebody at The Witness needs to go back to art school and learn a few color theories. Just know.
And then what's even worse is you have red and blue on a purple background, which purple is a literal combination of red and blue,
yes.
And then the other squares in between are another shade of purple. If you're red-blue colorblind at all, you're just screwed.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I know I've seen a few other puzzles out there that make you go through the whole entire puzzle, and there's little black dots that you have to make sure that you go over.
Yeah.
Add that into that puzzle, that thing is fucking nearly impossible to figure out if you are colorblind, just from that one.
Yeah, it's a bad situation all around, and I don't think it's going to be solved. I don't think it's going to be corrected. I don't think it's going to be fixed. I think people are just going to be screwed.
He has pretty much said, "Oh well."
Yeah.
That and one more important caveat: people are getting motion sick from the game, and he says, "Okay, we're working on a patch for that."
Yeah. Better yet, how the hell are you going to fix motion sickness?
Good luck. That means
it's a first-person, world that people are roaming around. How on earth are you going to fix the motion sickness?
The only way, the reason I get motion sickness is we were playing either one, and this game is like The Witness, hyper-realistic, and the hyper-realism can trigger it in some people, and the shifting camera angles, if the camera moves too fast or too slow, it can trigger it.
The only way I could see to make a way to fix it is to scale down the frame rate or scale it up. I don't know, whichever way they decide to go. Or you dial up or down the resolution.
Yeah. And in this HD world, they're not going to dial down the resolution.
No, but they might dial up the frame rate.
Yeah. That's the only workaround that I can legitimately see.
I mean, I've gotten motion sick off of quite a few games. Infamous 2. The swing motions made me so motion sick, and Josh didn't believe me when I told him it made me motion sick until I threw up.
Nice.
I had to leave the room. It was 10 times worse with either one.
Well, let's go ahead and move on to our next story here.
Okay, The Witness is being pirated a lot.
A whole hell of a lot.
Jonathan Blow, developer of The Witness, claims that the newly released and critically acclaimed first-person explorer puzzle game is being heavily pirated. Is it any wonder?
Yeah.
Taking to Twitter, Blow expressed frustration that The Witness is currently the most popular game on a certain torrent site, which he didn't name. Blow then reminded his Twitter followers that pirating The Witness will not help the studio create another game.
This is true.
This prompted a number of users to become defensive, blaming various circumstances for The Witness being pirated so much. One person said the game's $40 price tag. Blow dismissed the claim, stating that Braid, his first game, was pirated just as heavily back when it was ported to PC in 2009, despite only costing $15. Another blame was the lack of a demo for The Witness.
Which, that's the one argument that I think is bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, we live in a world where you can get gameplay footage, reviews, honest opinions from other, gamers just going through and playing it. I mean, we live in a world where demos are becoming less and less necessary because you can find anyone in the universe covering the stuff. I mean, you don't need a demo of Hyperdimension Neptunia V2. You can come to Gmod Transmission Station and watch me play it for an hour and 20 minutes, uncut.
Yeah, exactly.
There's your demo.
Yeah, exactly. And that also brings up the issue of open or closed betas. You have people in there giving you a first taste of it by that way. Even if you're not able to get into it, they're posting it wherever the hell they can. But anyway, back to the article. If I'm not wrong, he's... where was I going to go?
I have no idea where you're going to go.
Yeah, I was going to go somewhere, but I lost my train of thought.
So apparently you did go somewhere, it's just not where you wanted to go.
Yeah, I went down the wrong rabbit hole.
Apparently, Blow's frustration over this game being pirated is understandable. Yeah, of course it is. It kind of kills the game industry when you pirate everything. After all, he and his studio has been working hard for the past 7 years, and people benefiting from his work without paying may be to be upsetting. The Witness was also released without the backing of a major publisher on the contrary. Blow spent his entire braid fortune developing The Witness.
Yep.
The thing that gets me is, me and Michael were talking about this the other day, maybe it's just his attitude toward the player.
Yeah, Jonathan Blow is not a very likable person. Even if you watch Indie Game the movie, it shows a lot of him doing his development process through Braid and everything. Jonathan Blow is not a very likable dude. He comes off very ignorant, very insulting, and just the guy's not very pleasant. He's not a great dude, and it makes it hard to have any real sympathy for him when he's so condescending a lot of the time.
Especially whenever the pre-order bonus
was warm, fuzzy.
Yeah, exactly. That's a great example of exactly his kind of thing. Is you can pre-order my game, give me money now before the game comes out. I'm not gonna give you shit for giving me the money early. You just get warm fuzzy feelings for supporting me. Fuck you, Jonathan Blow.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
It could just be
feeling sympathy for him.
Yeah, it's hard to feel sympathy for him. And that could be where a lot of the pirating has come from. It's all like, this guy doesn't care about us. He barely cares about his game. Who gives a shit if I go onto a torrent site and download it? Screw him.
My problem with all this is I still feel very uncomfortable and pretty much refuse to spend $40 on a digital-only purchase. I would go gladly, right now, go buy The Witness if there was a disc-based version of it. I would gladly own a physical copy of The Witness. But I still don't feel comfortable paying more than $15 for something that I don't physically own, for something that could disappear in 20 years, depending on the state of the publisher, depending on the state of Sony, depending on the state of whatever. There's 1,000,001 reasons why digital-only games disappear off marketplaces and can no longer be obtained. It's happened before. It's happened many times. It will continue to happen. The only way that you can feel secure in your purchase is by having a physical copy. And when you're talking about $40, that's a gamble I and many other gamers are unwilling to take.
And you're coming from that stance. Here's an important thing that you didn't touch on, is how long is the support staff going to stay on for this game? Doing patches or fixing issues such as, well, they're not going to fix a colorblind issue, motion sickness issues.
And if there is various bugs in it, I haven't seen any yet. It seems pretty solid, but if they find bugs,
how are they going to fix it?
How are they going to fix it if the support team goes away? Because this seems like it doesn't have a very big studio behind it.
No. It's a small studio. That's why it took 7 years.
Yeah.
I mean, I will admit it's a very pretty game.
Okay, I want to play it. I legitimately want to play it. But the only way that's going to happen is if one of two things happen. Either A, it goes down to $20 or less thanks to it being on sale, possibly with a combination of my PlayStation Plus discount, or 2, Jonathan Blow gets out of his ass and decides to release a physical version.
Yeah.
Those are the only two ways this game gets purchased by me.
I don't see a physical version being released because I just don't think he has the support behind him to literally get out and manufacture a disc for this.
See, I think Sony would help him manufacture a disc. I think Sony would help him do that.
Yeah, but then he seems like the type of guy that doesn't want to take a pay cut.
He doesn't want to share his money with Sony.
Yeah, but he'll gladly show up on Sony's stage for the PS4 announcement and take up 10 minutes of their time to show off the game for the first time.
Exactly, free publicity. Anyway, I think we killed this article.
Yeah,
the guy doesn't seem very likable.
No, the guy's not very likable. Like I said, if you want to get kind of more of what he's like, go watch Indie Game the movie. It's available on just about every platform you can imagine, Hulu, Netflix, yada yada yada. Just go search for Indie Game the movie. It'll give you some looks into some peoples, and you'll see that a lot of indie developers kind of have that tortured artist personality about them that's a little standoffish and unpleasant.
Mm-hmm. Or as we like to call it, his warm fuzzy feeling.
Yeah, his warm fuzzy feeling. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on to the next article. Visage, V-Sausage. Trailer. The other game inspired by PT. Mike, take it away.
This game is essentially a spiritual successor to the... what was it called? Paranormal Trailer that was out on PS4 that was going to essentially be the forerunner to the game that got canceled that we all desperately wanted, which was Silent Hills. This article is brought to us by Cody Gravel on... No, I think it's...
Oh, it's on GameRant.
GameRant. Thank you. But anyway, here we go. Back to the article. The trailer clocks in at roughly 12 minutes long. I've seen it. If you get a chance to, watch it.
Oh, I've got it playing in the background right now.
But you might want to keep the lights on. It's a little bit scary. It's definitely got that horror vibe to it. I couldn't look away. My girlfriend had to run into the other room and hide under the pillows.
I was not hiding under the pillows!
Okay, the sheets then.
I wasn't hiding!
But anyway.
It looks very pretty. Like I said, I've got the trailer running right now. It looks very, very pretty.
And that's alpha footage.
Yeah.
Yeah. The trailer shown above shows that the game is meant to be terrifying. It doesn't have to look ugly doing so, thus it being pretty. Mm-hmm. It does have the dark corners, lights flickering on and off, and all that goody, grimy, horror-filled nastiness.
You're having too much fun with this.
That is Visage. I am thoroughly happy with this game. I hope they get their funding. Oh my god.
Who's the developer?
Yeah, I'm working on
it. Mike's a little excited.
Yes, I am a little bit excited. The company that is bringing it out is Sad Square. You heard me right.
Is a Sad Square like a QB?
I don't know if it's like a QB, but it's a Sad Square.
I don't know. The CAD was the icon that they used was a very sad square. So they live up to their name. But watching that trailer all the way to fruition, oh my god. The vibes, the dark corners, the pictures on the wall telling you where to go. Nice subtle effect.
You know, the paintings,
and then going up
and
and seeing...
The pictures are beautiful as hell.
Yeah. Then actually going up the stairs, finding the creepy as hell closet, going into the closet, can't get out the closet. No, can't get out the closet. And then the lights finally going off. And you see the bitch.
No, the lighting engine in this is amazing too. Just like actually the way that all the lights cast their light is done insanely well.
Mm-hmm.
It's very, very impressive.
Okay, but anyhow, Visage is currently in its Kickstarter phase, trying to earn roughly $35,000 in order to fund a PC release, mind you. I would get a laptop just to get this game.
That's saying something.
Yes. But if it surpasses that goal, make it happen, people. Make it happen. It could release on the PS4, Xbox One, or my favorite that I would really love to see, get my hands on, a VR release. I would be scared shitless and I'd be happy. Yeah. Okay. Where am I?
As Mike tries to find his thoughts.
Yeah.
Either way, Mike wants you to back the project.
Yes, I thoroughly want you to back the project.
The thing I like about... I don't do horror games very often. This one, I watched about 3 minutes of the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
Grand total of about 3 minutes, and I got the feeling in my soul that something was wrong.
Thus, she ran to the bedroom and hid under the covers.
I did not hide.
Did too.
But the thing I like about this, even that I would support him buying it, was it features randomized elements through each playthrough that will increase replayability and make sure the players simply do not know what's coming next.
That's what I forgot to give the people. A setting similar to PT. You are stuck in your house with no way out, and the house isn't gonna let you out with throwing all kinds of shit at you to scare you and otherwise turn your brain into scrambled eggs.
With or without cheese?
I don't know. What's your preference?
Cheese.
Cheese. Okay, there we go. Scrambled eggs with cheese.
I don't care as long as I get a little salsa on my scrambled eggs with cheese.
And she wants salsa. Okay.
We're demanding a lot of this game, damn it.
But anyway, back to the article. With that being said, have we seen enough to run screaming into the streets heralding the coming of the next great, amazing horror game? Probably not. However, Visage's mix of creepy and fascinating visuals hold a lot of early promise, and should Sad Square's crowdfunding campaign go as well as the developer hopes it will, it's possible there will be another game to add to the list of hotly anticipated horror games in the future. Now, what is his name? Cody Gravel seems to be a little bit off key. I loved it. Maybe I'm just biased. But I played PT. Fuck PT and its convoluted way of doing puzzles, but it's right there on pace for it to be right up there with PT, or I don't know. Well, we'll never be able to know because Silent Hills was canceled.
Yes,
I certainly think it's going to be a great game.
Meanwhile, he's getting out his credit card to go donate on Kickstarter.
Great.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, now that we've had the Mike Happiness Hour,
Yay!
let's go ahead and move on to our next story, also being covered by Mike. Ratchet & Clank's developer's new game is a little girl's submarine adventure called Song of the Deep. Mike,
Yes.
sing us a song of the deep.
Sorry, I don't perform without money up front, but
I thought it was booze.
money or booze. Depends on how I'm feeling that night.
Money and booze.
This article is brought to us by Alexa Ray on January 28th, 2016.
From
Insomniac
GameSpot.
Games.
I said from
On GameSpot.
GameSpot.
Yes, thank you. Insomniac Games, the studio behind Sunset Overdrive and the Ratchet & Clank series, will launch its newest game this spring. It is going to be a 2D side-scrolling Metroidvania called Song of the Deep. Referred to as the studio's passion project by Chief Executive Ted Price, Song of the Deep follows 12-year-old Marin on a journey to find her lost father. Her father tells her stories of a world underwater, lost cities, schools, yada yada. Anyway, she goes down to the bottom of the sea in a submarine. When Daddy doesn't.
We all live in a yellow submarine. A yellow submarine. Sorry.
Oddly enough, it is a yellow submarine.
I know, that's why I said it. I was looking at the picture. I couldn't help myself. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
Anyway, throughout her journey, Marin will uncover secrets of an ancient forgotten race through music, and learn that she has more of a connection to the sea than she originally thought. It is based off of Celtic and Irish rhymes,
Myths.
I like an Irish rhyme.
It's about the little people on the little bridge. Yes, I know. That was facepalm worthy.
Aye, it was, laddie.
But the final say and on the setting and tone were chosen because there's something magical about Ireland.
It's called the booze.
Yeah, it could be the booze. Whatever.
You know what? I have been to Irish pubs. I would argue they may be happier than Disneyland and may challenge Disneyland for the happiest place on Earth.
And those are just the watered-down Americanized versions.
Exactly. Although I don't know, the last one I went to, there was a man cooking pastrami burgers on a giant grill top with the flames shooting up to the ceiling, and he was touching all the food with his bare hands. So, I think it's about as close to the real thing as you can get.
So, according to the article, you'll be able to upgrade your submarine in different ways, such as lasers, hook shots, torpedoes, and whatnot. And the way that is upgraded is by her collecting a type of energy scattered throughout the world. It's a form of little balls of light called time. Don't ask me what that is. My Irish and Celtic mythology isn't that strong. Let's see. Hey, the cutscenes are hand drawn.
That's nice.
Yeah. And there are no talking NPCs, no data logs, just her and the sub fighting bosses and solving puzzles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I just no part of me is excited about this, to be perfectly honest. This is not my cup of tea at all. I've never been into the whole 2D Metroidvania kind of thing.
Yeah, I hear you. But here's the thing. Everybody's favorite people at a place where games stop. It is going to be, what was it? Not produced. It was
Published.
Oh yeah, published at GameStop.
And that rolls us right into our next story. GameStop gets into publishing via a partnership with Insomniac Games. Alrighty, so apparently GameStop is not just happy enough having really crappy Flash games on their Congregate website. Now they want to try to get in with the big boys and start actually, to some degree, do real publishing deals. Now, there's a few interesting aspects of this. Number one is that they are letting Insomniac keep their intellectual property, so the actual license and everything is going to maintain Insomniac's. The other interesting part of this is that they will be printing physical discs of this for PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. And the physical versions, mind you, these are physical versions of a $15 game. Look at our story on The Witness being 40 not getting physical versions. But the physical versions of the game are only going to be available at GameStop.
Of course.
That's basically the, deal here, is that they get, obviously, a kickback from the sales of the game, both digitally and physically released, and they get to have exclusivity, thank you, exclusivity for the physical versions in their own retail stores. This is a scary thing.
Yeah. This is the same company, mind you, that thought it was a good idea to have all the retro collectors bring in their old games so they could sell them again. mind you, this had been an issue with GameStop. This main issue. They were getting NES's, Genesis's, and with Sega Genesis's.
Genesis's.
How about genocide? Sega genocide. Multiple Genesises is a genocide.
Thank you. Genocide.
Genocide.
As well as other retro games. Some people who wanted to get a leg up on GameStop would take Super Mario Brothers, unscrew the back, and put in a data disc that had like Duck Hunt in the back and try and get more money out of it.
That's hilarious.
Yes. One more hilarious tidbit. They were bringing in the game consoles saying, oh yeah, we tested all these games, all these systems, and lo and behold, we sell to somebody and it doesn't fucking work.
No.
Quality care.
Mm-hmm. No, I have a better question for you. Okay? What happens when you buy this game, published by GameStop, and you buy the physical version, and you go home and you play it and you beat it, and then you walk up to the counter and try to trade it in?
Oh god.
Like, is that a trade-in anymore, or is that just a fucking return?
Exactly. What's the return rate on it?
Okay. It's just like, no, sorry, we don't offer trade-in on that.
Really? You don't have confidence in your product that it's going to be worth something down the line? That's
we don't want that back. You see, we believe in used games, and we believe in used game sales unless it's our game. Then we want everyone to buy new. So you can't trade in your used copy.
No, watch them just sell the new and used copies for $14.99.
Yeah. So, like, we can't tell the difference.
What is used, anyways? Like, really?
I just feel bad for the guys behind the counter who are being pushed into pushing this game on gamers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well,
you think GameStop employees push for pre-orders on every other game? Imagine what they're going to do on this one.
Exactly.
Last time I was in a GameStop alone, I should say, I was looking for a online multiplayer game. This is simply the statistics I put on it. I wanted something I could play with Michael over the internet.
Okay.
Long distance co-op. That's what I told them.
Uh-huh.
They tried to shove Dark Souls 2 on me.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, really?
Really? I don't think you understand.
No. Here's an important issue. When is this game supposed to drop? That's what I forgot.
I want to say it's a Q2.
So roughly.
Yeah,
June?
Q2. So that would be anywhere between March and June.
Yeah. Has anybody seen a commercial for it?
Well, it's an indie title, so of course not.
No, I'm just saying from the sake of GameStop publishing it. They are not even putting it out there. If I hadn't have stumbled on this article, I would have no idea what the hell it was, who was putting it out, or anything.
Yeah.
What kind of job are they doing pushing their product if they don't have some sort of trailer?
Which, I mean, that's part of the job of a publisher. It's the publisher's job to deal with all of the PR and all of the advertising and the campaigns and disc printing and everything else. Like, those are the jobs of the publisher. But I don't think it's going to be an issue because I'm willing to bet by the end of February, beginning of March, as we start to approach the beginning of Q1, you're going to see posters for this in every single GameStop, and they're probably going to put as much of an advertising push behind it as they put behind, like, the advertising push they put behind Star Wars Battlefront.
Yeah. And if that does happen, the first person to go to a GameStop has to take a picture and put it up on the site.
Yep. First person who sees a big poster for that in a GameStop needs to make sure that they put a link to it.
Yeah.
We'll post it on the we'll post it on the Facebook page.
I also read somewhere that not only are they doing the PR and all that, they are also releasing a stuffed animal line.
Yeah, they're apparently already planning on merchandising the hell out of this thing. It isn't.
I heard a stuffed animal line and a book, a children's book.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're putting all your eggs in one basket, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like, you cannot guarantee this game is going to succeed. Like, Insomniac took a while to get off the ground anyways.
I wouldn't say it's necessarily true. I mean, one of Insomniac's very first projects was Spyro, and that did pretty freaking well.
And you also gotta consider Insomniac. What was the last game you remember Insomniac doing?
I mean, the last game Insomniac did was the Sunset Riders.
Sunset Overdrive.
Sunset Overdrive, thank you.
It was an Xbox exclusive.
Yeah, it was Xbox One exclusive.
And it was pretty good.
By my understanding, at least.
It was an Xbox 360 exclusive or just straight up Xbox?
Xbox One.
So they haven't been on in a full console generation.
No, Xbox One.
Xbox
not original
One.
Xbox.
Not
Oh.
the original. The one.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
So, that confused me. We're gonna start calling the Xbox. We're gonna call it the Xbox OG.
The
Okay.
Xbox OG.
Okay. Yeah.
We have the Xbox OG, the Xbox 360, and the Xbone.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
sorted out.
apparently Insomniac Games been on the thing and I haven't even noticed them.
Mm-hmm.
Their logo is a little bit out there. Well, in this day and age of logos just going ba ba ba, or you can skip right to the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not really looking for it, you aren't really going to notice a game publisher or whoever's pushing it.
Yeah.
Did we lose James?
Nope.
Nope, he's still here. Okay.
You're not allowed to go silent.
Apparently not.
Not with my Skype having issues the way it is.
Right? It's a warning
But,
of
like,
things to come.
I just think with GameStop pushing this, they are going to push it a little too far.
Oh, they're gonna push it hard as hell. And like I said, I'm just waiting for, when the customer comes in and the used copy costs the exact same as the new copy, and the customer's like, well,
What?
can't I get the new copy? And then the employee's all, well, this copy's still new to you.
Yeah.
I see myself buying this for my niece and nephew when they get about to the age of 5 or 6.
Oh man.
If GameStop hasn't shot themselves in the foot and Insomniac hasn't said, no, we don't want to be associated with this anymore. Even though it seems to be a little bit of their baby brainchild at the moment. Which looks like glorified indie with pretty cutscenes.
Let's go ahead and move on. Hey, Mike, you want to go ahead and tell us about the VR game that apparently lets players shoot themselves in the head?
Yeah! I stumbled across this, and that heading was enough to make me read. This article is via Steam, and it comes to us courtesy of Nathan Grayson on last Friday, at 6:40 p.m. Okay. I'll give you this in his words. I whirled around and plugged 2 perfectly placed shots into an enemy player. I was finally getting the hang of Vive VR shooter, Hover Junkers. I was in the zone. I thought nobody could take me by surprise. Then I watched as another player slowly raised a gun to their head and pulled the trigger. Of all the games I played at a recent Valve VR showcase, Hover Junkers impressed me the most. In it, you zip around on hover barges while having Wild West gunfights. It's goofy, frantic, multiplayer fun. I was so into it that I didn't even feel embarrassed physically diving behind cover, yelping in fear as shots pinged off my sheet metal shield. The most interesting part, however, is that players have full control over their bodies. Any game you can have a shootout, but a shootout with improvised nonverbal communications, the person trying to blow your head off, and that's unique. Say you're losing a fight, you can physically raise your hand out of cover, wave in an attempt to surrender, or you could use the same hand trick to distract someone, then pop out on the other side of cover and fire away. Anyway,
right
that's
now
pretty
I've got
much
a trailer going on in the background here.
Hmm?
I said right now I have like a trailer demonstration thing going on in the background for those who are watching the video version.
Okie dokie. Hover Junkers developers have embraced the possibility space, enabling people to select from a range of gestures they can use while flailing around, for instance, pointing the middle finger. Those little things let players come up with all sorts of handy non-verbal cues free of the restrictions a canned animation system would impose. For instance, one person surrenders to me only to stop in the middle of handing me loot and pointing his fingers, spinning them in a motion that clearly meant turn around fast. Mm-hmm. He turned around and another player had sneakily parked their hover barge behind mine. I nearly got shot in the back, but I managed to duck in the nick of time. It was crazy.
It was crazy.
Yeah. That much freedom, though, can lead to situations like the one that he had described earlier. Mostly for shits and giggles. A player lifted the gun to their head and shot themselves. At first I laughed because I seriously didn't expect it. And it was kind of funny. In that very video game kind of way.
Suicide! It's hilarious!
But I was also surprised by the immediacy of it all. It's one thing that you see that act out on a screen. It's another to feel like you were there. Like you just witnessed with your own two eyes. Somebody pull the trigger, watch the body and the brain. Subconsciously, that was yours. Keep this in mind. This is your body in a VR setup. You put the thing to your brain, and then all of a sudden, boom, sack of potatoes mode. How does your brain comprehend that?
Yeah, no, that's gotta screw with you a little, at least.
Yeah. Later that day, he spoke with Hover Junkers designers Alex Knoll and Brandon Latch. Somebody's got to correct me on that one. Mm-hmm. About the considerations that went into letting players go through the motions of suicide, their animation system, and the weird shit nobody expected from VR until they started using it. Touchy subjects. Kotaku. When I was playing Hover Junkers, at one point I turned around, blah, 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 what he had said before. And with their response to it, our stance on it is, if we programmed it out, if you point a weapon at yourself and there's no repercussions, that obviously promotes unsafe firearm use. Good point. And we don't want people to be doing that. So we have some level of repercussion from performing such acts. He says back, obviously, though that puts you in a tight spot because now people can kill themselves in ways that are intense, verging on reminiscent of what the act would be like in real life. It's one thing to witness, another thing to do, and have it associated with your game. Brandon Latch is this moral quandary. You can turn the game around and do anything. It's something VR enables, but as a result, it seems wrong to have it not do anything at all. And it seems wrong to have it do that thing. So we're going with having it behave as it would in real life. There has to be consequence to any firearm in any situation. Okay, and then it runs on for a bit.
Question.
Yeah.
Is it messed up that there's a part of me that kind of wants to know what would happen if you strapped on that VR headset, took your hand with the gun in it, and shot yourself in the balls?
And essentially, they're saying that you could do that.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. Because I want to know, because obviously shooting yourself in the head should look different from your perspective than shooting yourself in the balls. So
yeah,
I want to know if they've taken that level of time and detail.
I'd like to get my hands on it just to experiment now.
Right?
The things men think
big
about.
Spike ball of death. Sorry.
Yeah.
Scrolled down page and saw big spike ball of death with guy on barge ship thing with the fire. And it looks like freaking Mad Max in here.
Yeah, it
Mad
does.
Max shit.
It essentially goes on to different things that you can do with the.
Yeah, the article just goes and goes and goes. There'll be links to all the articles in the description. So for those of you who care.
From speculation, it's pretty much whatever you could generally do in a shooting game, you can do. But from the VR standpoint, you could also do shit that is fucked up. You could essentially take a hostage and kill them.
Yeah. By the way, how come Steamed also wants to sell me women's workout wear?
I don't know.
What have you been Googling in the past?
No, not what have you been Googling? What has your wife been Googling?
I have no idea. I mean, on all the other things, I keep getting advertisements for, game capture cards and headsets, which makes sense because those are what I've been looking for on Amazon, so that's when all the ads are showing up. But I keep getting these banner ads for women's workout wear, and that one I can't place.
Oh, oops, I thought I deleted my cookies.
Oh, shit. And then they do go into a morbid type of section. This is all VR. What was that? Oh, God of War 3. You can essentially take somebody's eyes, gouge them out, and have them essentially be blind.
Yeah.
This opens... Yeah. It could open up a lot of possibilities for the VR setup with this game. Imagine, old combat-y Chinese martial arts film. What was it? No. I think it was Kill Bill was a recent one where he reaches in, grabs her eye out. Have that whole scenario go down.
For years we've been working on trying to develop a game alongside a technology that could cause a player to experience real PTSD. I think we've done it.
I think we've done it. But anyway, it just seems interesting to me that VR has come this way, technology has came this far, that we're actually able to do these things in a game, but the developers were smart enough to put
the repercussions.
The repercussion systems in there.
Yeah.
Because God knows, we've had too many gamer. Well, I don't want to dignify him with that title. Assholes going out and blaming video games for their own actions, not being able to differentiate between the fantasy world that is a video game and real life.
Oh yeah, no. Let's just throw this out here now. Fox News is gonna have a freaking heyday with this shit.
Of course, if they haven't already. Me and Kate really don't watch the news. I'm not sure if you guys do on your end, but if it hasn't gotten to them yet, it's got to be sitting in the back pocket waiting for.
They're probably waiting for the elections to be over.
True.
Yeah, this isn't out on the streets yet. Once this is, available, is when, people are going to start freaking out.
Well, little Timmy was able to put his gun to his head and shoot himself. But guess what? In the game, he dies.
Yep.
Now he knows he puts the gun to his head in real life, shoots himself, he's going to die.
Yeah, but the only problem is that, the parents wouldn't know that because it's all happening, only in the VR headset, so the parents can't see that little Jimmy's shooting himself in the head.
Yeah.
But you can tell the motion when somebody puts a gun up to their head.
Yeah, no, trust me, it'll just lead to a lot of kids being dragged to do psychiatrists.
Yeah, I could see that. That, and it might actually make the... Okay, imagine that scenario as a parent walking in on that. Little Timmy, we need to have a talk right now, but I gotta finish this label. I saw what you did. Get the damn headset off. We're talking now. And if you are that obtuse of a parent to allow that to go on and not actually talk to the child, okay, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Where is your level of parenting? I'm not trying to be preachy or anything like that, but you see this going on in the VR setting, it doesn't raise kind of a red flag right then?
I don't know. I mean, to me, it's no different than everyone who freaked out when, Diablo hit the scenes, and, every kid who played Diablo on PC had their parents freaking out thinking that they were into devil worship and part of the occult. So, I mean...
Yeah, there's always somebody looking out to...
Misinterpret
or demonize video games.
This is just going to make it easier than ever. I mean, a lot of people are going to be freaking out over just everything in VR, and every yuppie parent in the world's not going to like the idea that they don't know what their kid's playing inside the helmet. So, I mean, it's just one of the billion problems that VR is going to face, trying to become mass-marketed anyways. The fact that this, exists, that this particular game exists, I mean, yeah, it's wonderful, it's forward-thinking and everything else, but as far as, the problems with children and everything else is concerned, VR has a billion other steps it has to take first to make it to where parents would even feel close to anything resembling comfortable with buying their kids a VR helmet.
Yeah.
But then you've got those parents that will literally buy their kids anything.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Those are the parents that aren't going to give a fuck if they see their kid, motioning a gun to their head while in a VR helmet.
Okay.
I don't know. Some parents freak out over little things and don't freak out over big things. Like,
damn suburban moms.
I hate to use our family as an example, but put Laura and Emily in this situation.
Yeah. Damn suburban moms.
Laura will buy into the VR headset, see that, and then pull the VR headset.
Yeah.
Yeah, at least.
And all of a sudden, I'm really, really sad there weren't more M-rated violent games for the Move and for the original Wii.
There were a few for the original Wii.
There's a weird, sadistic part of me that loves the idea of just parents walking in on their kids, just taking holding the Wiimote like a katana and just slicing people's heads off, and just blood going everywhere and heads fucking rolling down hills and shit.
Yeah.
There were a few out there ones for the Wii. Most of them were Japan releases.
Of course, because Japan.
But there were a few that made it onto the Wii store in the US.
Just Bloody Ninja Assassin 3. No mercy.
With the Move, though, the closest you got were shooters and stuff like... Resident Evil 5 was actually Move compatible.
Yeah. And also, some of the scenes in Heavy Rain, if you were playing Heavy Rain with the Move.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God.
I didn't dare to journey down that rabbit hole.
I did. It broke the immersion.
Yeah.
I took 15 minutes trying to open the locker.
Oh, crap.
James watched me struggle that.
Yeah.
The struggle was real.
I'm just picturing the, chopping off the finger and the cauterization, thing with the Move.
And I got her freaked out over here. I did the whole motion with the Move. Okay, I think we've kicked this dead horse a little bit too long.
So. This horse is deader than dead now. Let's move on, shall we?
Yes, let's.
Mirror's Edge Catalyst closed beta coming to PS4, Xbox One, and PC. Get in today! This is going to be real short, real sweet, real simple. Basically, there is a closed beta being run by Electronic Arts and the developer DICE. for the closed beta, which is going to be held on all the platforms, Xbox One, PS4, PC, all that good stuff, for the new Mirror's Edge Catalyst, which will be released later this year. You do, because it is a closed beta, you have to register, which you register through their website. You give them your your username for whatever it is, Steam, Xbox One, or PS4, whatever platform you prefer. Give them your username and email address and all that good fun stuff, and hopefully you will get in. Once again, it is a closed beta, so there is a chance that not everyone's going to get in, so register today. It's the only reason why we really threw this in here is because of the fact that this is actually pretty much breaking news. It was just announced today, and so if you're watching this, close to the date of release, which of course the date of release is in the, title name, so if you're watching this close to the date of release, you should be one of the first people who get into the registration, which means you will hopefully get into the beta if Mirror's Edge Catalyst is something that you care about.
Now, that poses a question. In the comments below, if you would like us to try to get into the beta, please comment who you would like to try and get into the beta.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, no, if people want to leave a comment below saying that they would like one of us to try to get into the beta, then one of us will register for the beta.
Yeah.
So, yeah, go ahead. Please leave your comments below. And if there's, a couple of votes for somebody, then we will try to get into the beta and release beta footage on the channel. I think that's a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, like I said... Oh, good.
Sorry.
Good.
Say who? What? Why?
Who?
How? When? Where?
Alright, like I said, that's just a quick little snippet. We're going to go ahead and move on to our second to last story. PayPal! Whoa, big PayPal. 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 Okay.
How did PayPal come up?
Sorry, I clicked over onto the new thing, and it was just a gigantic PayPal ad.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. PayPal.
PayPal! Just, that's the whole story. PayPal. Okay. Microsoft to build data centers at the bottom of the ocean. Among other benefits, it should generally reduce power usage.
Okay. One of the biggest problems with any large collection of servers is the sheer amount of heat generated and in turn the power needed to cool the equipment to stop it from overheating and failing. This has led to a creative solution several creative solutions over the years, ranging from sitting the servers in Arctic to near Arctic locations, to building underground vaults and diverting excess heat to neighboring buildings, thus reducing heating bills. Microsoft has done something weird, though. Microsoft has placed a server at the bottom of the ocean.
Yeah.
In the test, Microsoft used external power to make the server run, which led to a measurable but likely insignificant increase in the surrounding water's temperature. However, in theory, is that the system in place to harness it, tidal power could be enough to operate the servers, thus making the server farm not only entirely self-powered, but with no temperature effects. The test also showed that the steel casing that they wrapped the server in was enough to block out the sound of the servers to a point that it shouldn't disturb any marine life. So basically, they took a
I have a hard time buying that part.
They took a server, shoved it in a tube, and put it at the bottom of the ocean.
And it's not going to bother any of the marine life. Bullshit! This is all.
The marine life and not going to raise the temperature of the ocean.
I've seen Finding Nemo. This is all the marine life is talking about now.
Is it bad that I have Under the Sea playing in my head right now?
How many wonders can one cavern hold?
God, our servers. Fucking Sebastian going on all this song, and it's all like, wait, I don't remember that being Under the Sea. We got servers now.
Ariel's sitting there. That's the biggest thingamabob I've ever seen.
Okay. But on the serious note, it's kind of cool, but I just don't. Okay, pod of whales go by.
The echolocation thing would definitely throw it off.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking any animal that uses echolocation or like sonic location would be really thrown the fuck off by that giant metal thing.
Really confused.
Pretty much anything. I mean, you got even down to a lobster who's using the antenna to figure out what's going on around. If that thing's sending out signals, any type of signal, it's going to be interfering somehow.
Yeah. Oh, man. But before we get back to being serious, I just have one more joke to make, just because I can't help it.
Okay.
Right now, there is some guy who's really hardcore into water cooling PCs who has the biggest raging boner right now.
Water cooling in the Pacific or the Atlantic? Your choice.
Oh, God.
You can tune a server, but you can't tune a fish?
You can yes.
Oh, that
God.
was good.
Okay.
This is your article. Anything else you want to say before we move on?
Work on the project has some fringe benefits. The nature of the setup means that servers have to run for 5 years without any human intervention, which has prompted a rethink in their design. That in turn has cut the space taken up by each server. The streamlined design also means that it can take as little as 90 days to create a new server farm, which Microsoft says compares to 2 years on land.
Okay.
We can build server farms in 90 days on the bottom of the ocean.
Apparently so. By the way, I'm looking at the picture here of them, like hoisting the server down into the ocean. The big, white, round circular server thing has a gigantic Windows logo on it, and I just want to know why.
It's Microsoft's!
Branding, man, branding. The whales gotta know.
It's at the bottom of the ocean! The only people who are gonna see the branding is the fucking fish!
No. I just freaking took this to the paranormal. It's for the mermaids, man. It's for the mermaids.
I don't know.
I just want to see a giant octopus grab onto one of them to see where it takes it. So, the giant octopus, I need Wi-Fi for my house. You're coming with me.
So, they go to pick it back up to where, and it's not where it was, and it's like, where'd it go?
Carl, they're on to you.
I just want to know, does a server in the ocean have more ports?
That was super funny, and I love it.
Okay, we can move on from the Microsoft servers at the bottom of the ocean. And the actual title of this article is Microsoft to Servers, Get in the Sea.
Yes, I see that. Microsoft to Servers, Get in the Sea.
No, sorry, I got one more. It was an order from Rapture.
Rapture's ordering servers now.
Yes.
How else is he supposed to get better reception? Not better reception, better signal
Wi-Fi.
down there.
Yeah.
Are you just saying the sequel to Bioshock's just happening in real life?
Pretty much. Would you kindly go and bring me my server? Okay.
Okay, moving on.
Moving on. And the big story of the day. EA announce public pre-E3 event. Leaves E3 show floor. Now, not only are they going to be leaving the show floor, the most important thing to me, and I think to most people, is that they are also not going to be having their standard E3 press event that usually takes place in between Microsoft and Ubisoft on the first day of E3. Meaning that press event spot is going to be open for a different company to take it, which is going to be very, very interesting. But let's go ahead and just get into the details here. It's the first time in over 20 years that EA won't have a booth at this event. That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it should be also mentioned, just real quick, EA is going to still be taking meetings at E3. They are still going to have a room up in the second floor where they will be taking closed-door meetings for members of press and so on and so forth. So it's not like they're going to be completely gone, but they are completely giving up their floor space and completely giving up their press conference slot so that they can do a show before E3, literally right before E3, where they're going to run the entire thing internally and going to have it open to everyone. Basically think the Sony PlayStation Experience thing, but for EA.
Mm-hmm. Can you say shooting themselves in their foot?
I don't know. I mean, here's the thing. EA is such a bad company. I mean, it's literally been voted the worst company in America twice, 2 years in a row, in 2013 and 2014. I mean, right now, EA is trying to save face by trying to do something that appears to be more fan-focused. That's more of a fan event, as if EA has fans.
If EA's got fans, they need to save all the fans they've got.
Just... Ugh.
I can see doing this, but I can see this being a good move to a degree, but you don't walk out on the biggest tech show of the year.
Now, here's where I think it's going to hurt them. Here's exactly where I think it's going to hurt them. Me and literally hundreds of thousands, almost at the million rate, I believe now, of people watch the E3 press conferences. Okay?
Religiously.
Yes. For me, it is literally my Super Bowl. When E3 rolls around, I order a pizza, I order hot wings, and I get snack trays.
Yep.
E3 usually costs me about $100 out of pocket just in consumables alone.
That being said, be sure to tune into Gmod Transmission Station during E3. We'll be covering every
coverage.
We'll be covering each and every little segment. Well,
press conference, except for EA.
Except for EA, yep.
But here's my point with all this. Okay. Yes, the people who really, these quote-unquote invisible fans of EA, I'm not sure where they are, but they swear they have them. Yes, those people are going to come to the event, but those are the people who are already going to buy those games anyways. You're not going to sell any additional games. But the people who watch E3 will usually sit through all of the press events, even for the companies that they aren't necessarily excited for. So you're giving up the, let's say, 1 million people who would be watching your live stream of your press conference where you can tell them about all of your new games so that you can have a press conference that is not associated with E3, meaning way fewer people are going to take the time to care about it and watch it, and you're going to have a public event for the people who are already going to buy your games in the first place. Where's the benefit? Other than trying to look like a kinder, more friendly company, which in the end, you've got to do a lot more than this to start to clean up your image, EA. So what the hell's the benefit here?
I don't know. I guess you got to start somewhere, but by killing yourself at the biggest show of the year,
to clean up your image,
doesn't seem to be the right time or place. I mean, I could see this doing like them doing this at, what was it?
Like PAX?
Yeah. Or some other event like that, but not at the granddaddy of them all.
Yeah, or you do what Sony does, and what other companies have done, and you just have 2 events. And you have this event in March, and then you still show up at E3 in, June, and you just have your fan event 3 months prior.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but even Ubisoft has something similar to that where it's the Assassin's Creed experience.
I don't know about that one, to be perfectly honest.
Okay.
I think that was strictly for the Assassin's Creed game. So.
Maybe it was, but even still, that's Ubisoft branding, and you're going after, middle teenagers, early 20s fans of the game, plus, those in the parkour, right then and there. And that's steadily building a fan base. While as EA, you're taking away floor space, you're taking away advertising, you're taking away, what the hell was that?
That was me.
Okay.
Sorry, folks.
Now where was I?
Taking away floor space, taking away advertising.
All just for the sake of fixing your public's opinion of EA,
image.
Which isn't... Yeah, public image, thank you. Which isn't that... Well, no, it isn't that good.
No, it's nowhere near good. It's real bad.
Yeah. Origin should speak for itself.
Yeah.
Like I said, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. The thing that here's what I am hoping, okay? Here's what I want. This is my little dream, my little hope, okay? Now that this slot is free, I know Nintendo backed out of E3 a couple of years ago to do their Treehouse events and to do their Nintendo Direct stuff, but Nintendo wants to get people hyped for the NX, for their new console. Consoles have always debuted at E3. The idea of them doing a Nintendo Direct again to show off their console, I think would have way less of an effect, and
It'd be a disservice.
would make gamers feel like once again they feel like Nintendo is just catering to its own fans and is being closed off from the general public. I think it would do Nintendo a great service if they took EA's time slot and had a big stage show and showed off the NX proper to everyone in a big fucking stadium and did it right.
Yeah, I can see what you're going for.
I think that it would go a long way to making people who have been writing off Nintendo for years start to look at them again and at least pay some attention.
Yeah. Who took over as lead for Nintendo? I forget his name.
I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, exactly. I'd have to do my homework before I say anything on that. But the way that they're going at it, they're making it more... what would be the word to be nice and accurate? Business-oriented? Not so much the way Shigeru Miyamoto was. He was just happy, okay, we'll make everybody fucking puppets. The guy that they got in there seems more business-oriented.
Not Miyamoto.
So... Huh?
You're thinking of Iwata, not Miyamoto.
Miyamoto. Okay, Iwata.
You said you need Iwata, not Miyamoto.
My bad. Thank you for correcting me.
Okay.
But anyway, seems like he's more business-oriented. So they might actually go down that route just to get the tech out there and get people to actually buy the product.
Once again, it's kind of like the EA thing, is by Nintendo doing their Treehouse event instead of doing a big instead of doing a big E3, show floor thing, a lot of people, especially because Nintendo's Treehouse, Nintendo Direct thing is so early in the morning, a lot of people just skip it. A lot of people just don't care. A lot of people have kind of segregated it as not really being part of the E3 press conferences, because it's technically not. So there are plenty of people who skip it. I obviously don't, but a lot of people do. And I think if they force you to watch that press conference by putting it right in front of your face and putting it right in between Microsoft and Ubisoft, I think it would go an insanely long way to forcing the general population to take notice and pay attention to Nintendo again.
That's a fair assumption.
Yeah, I think that would be like their best move.
The question is, do you think they'll actually do it?
That's a hard thing to say.
I wish they would.
Yeah, it's kind of a wish, kind of a pipe dream at this moment.
Which is what I said at the top of this when I explained the concept, is this is my wish, this is my dream. This is what I'd love to see. I about 20% believe they'll do it.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say 20% is accurate.
Just from my perspective, I say there's a 25 to 30% chance that they might do it, just based off who they got in charge now. Mm. Still, that is a astronomical leap to actually have it there.
Yeah. Either way, I think with what we had happen at E3 last year, where we had like 3 brand new press conferences out of nowhere. We had a Bethesda press conference, we had a Square Enix press conference, and then we had the PC Master Race press conference. I know that's not what it's called, but that's what I'm going to call it.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think that it's going to be a very, very interesting E3. I think E3 is obviously in a state of flux, and it's going to be really, really interesting to see what the press conference lineup is next year, or this year, I should say.
This year.
And I'd like to see the results from this EA fan show. Like, their actual turnout. I want to see numbers.
Yeah.
Like, I just imagine a guy alone in a room with a cake. Just, yay.
Yay.
I love EA.
I got the cake to myself.
I'm just like picturing this like one guy, you know, just walking in, and he's like really, really psyched. He's you know, like he's like full blown like, you know, cosplaying as an alien from Mass Effect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just, you know, some guy walks in as Shepard. He's just really, really, really excited, and there's like 12 other people in the entire conference hall.
Where is everybody?
You just see.
I don't know about you guys. I was told everybody was going to be cake and booze.
Listen, you see this guy just, you know, go from, you know, walking into the doors. He just goes from the happiest man on earth to just like the saddest and most disappointed dude who ever lived. It's like having a sack boy who's, you know, got the biggest smile and he's all happy, and then just walks to the door and you hit that down button on the D-pad like 6 times. That's where I'm going with that.
Well, I think that about wraps it up, honestly.
I think so. I guess the only question is now is, are we going to cover this thing as part of our E3 coverage? I mean, that's kind of the question for us now, is because this is happening literally right before E3, you know, basically the same day as, you know, one of the, you know, the first day, the day 0 of E3, as you'd call it. Are we going to cover this thing?
That brings up another issue. Where?
It's being held at LA Live.
No, I meant online. Where are we going to find it?
Where are we going to find it? Yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure whatever press conference thing they do during this thing, I'm positive there'll be plenty of coverage from places like IGN and GameSpot and all those other things. There'll be plenty of places to watch live streams of this bullshit.
Okay.
I think we should.
Just to see what it is? And
make
report
fun of
on it? Yeah. I think we should. It's just going to be kind of an issue trying to figure out when it's going to be, and then how we're going to structure the rest of the E3 coverage.
Yeah. There's going to be an interesting meeting around E3. Alright, well, that's going to go ahead and do it for the Gmon News Desk for the 4th of February 2016. Gmon is brought to you by Facebook, the Book of Faces, that place where you can like us and be notified whenever all of our new content comes up, whenever we're doing anything live, whenever we're just doing stuff, and random stories come around, and thoughts that we might have. Just thoughts, ideas, live streams, news articles, everything. It's all here. One place. GMA Transmission Station on Facebook. That's GE.
Disclaimer, we are not endorsed by Facebook.
What?
Disclaimer, we are not endorsed by Facebook.
Nope, we're endorsed by the GMA Transmission page on Facebook. It's an important distinction.
And cake.
Lots of cake.
But I mean, come on. If you don't like us on Facebook, how are you going to be able to read this awesome article on, Sony being restructured?
Mm-hmm.
That article doesn't exist anywhere else. We're the only people that have that shit. Right?
I could leave another disclaimer there, but I don't think I will to crush your hopes and dreams.
Well, thank you for crushing my hopes and dreams.
I don't feel like being a hopes and dreams crusher today.
How else are you gonna know if Donnie what was it? Donnie DeVito?
Danny DeVito.
Danny DeVito is
Voices
going
Detective Pikachu.
Yes, Detective Pikachu. No, which, by the way, just before we leave, about the Detective Pikachu thing, obviously, it will hopefully get brought to the West. If they bring it to the West, can we get the guy, I wish I could just say, I wish I knew his name off the top of my head, the guy who played Lenny in Law & Order.
Oh, God.
The old guy?
Yeah.
Who was in, Law & Order for almost the entire thing?
Mm.
Who plays
Yeah,
Lenny Briscoe?
I
I want that guy to voice Pikachu.
Oh, my God.
That's all I want. I can die happy then. Alright. So, for GMA Transmission Station News Desk, I'm James Leffingwell.
Michael Deal.
Kate Harmon.
Good night, good gaming, and get wired in.